back again on my 2003 Dodge Ram 1500. We are installing the brand new axle shaft, as you see here, or commonly known as a CV shaft. I've already got the intermediate shaft installed just in there. That's the front diff right there. So basically, take the wheel entire assembly off, take the axle nut off for the old one. It's commonly a 36 on this truck. Get yourself one of these nice deep socket. These are pretty cheap. You can get them for like 10 bucks, 14 bucks from Harbor Freight or Princess Auto, depends where you're from. Heck, even Canadian Tire or your local automotive store will have them on sale for decently cheap. Get yourself one of those. That's going to help you down the road. Make sure it's a deep one. Also, you're going to start by taking the tie rod off. It'll be a 21 mil or a 13/16. The upper control arm will be the exact same. Pop that off. Give her just a little love tap with a hammer on either side, or a pickle fork. I just give my little love tap with a 2-pound hammer and she comes loose, no problem. Same thing with the tie rod end. Just give her a little love tap on the bottom. She'll pop right off. Then you'll pull this assembly away, the hub knuckle assembly. You'll grab the old outer CV shaft, pull it up at an angle, should slide right out. You're then gonna take a pry bar or a crow's foot bar or anything like that, and then just give her a little pry and this will come off. If you have any trouble with it, take 2 bars, one on either end. You may need another person's help, and with added leverage she should pry right off, and then slide the old assembly off. If you are not installing a new stub shaft, you'll have no worry about the new clip on there, but the old clip, I do recommend replacing that clip that's inside. Just don't reuse it. You're going to cause yourself a lot of issue and problems down the road. Those clips are cheap, and your brand new CV shaft should come with one. You want to make sure that it actually is in the box. If not, call your retailer back and see about getting one with a C-clip in there. So then you're going to slide that clip on. You're going to take the shaft, line up the splines. That's the key thing. Line up the splines, or else you're going to cause yourself a world of trouble down the road. Because what you're going to do is think you're on there. You're going to force this on there. It will go if you've put enough force behind there. I've seen people do it. And then you're going to strip the hell out of the intermediate shaft or the CV shaft here. This thing is going to start flexing and bouncing around. You're going to lose your 4x4, and this thing is going to basically break apart and then cause trouble down the road and further damage if this thing is flailing about inside here as you're going down the highway. So I recommend a little bit of axle grease on the intermediate shaft inside here. Just lube it up real quick, not a lot, just a good dollop around the splines. Slide this on, line it up, force it on, just kind of slide it. It should go with minimal force. Slide it on, and you should hear an audible click as it slides over the CV lock ring inside here. And then take your finger. You should feel in the back here there is an O-ring on here. That should be nice and flush. And then even if you want to make more certainty that's on there, just kind of give it a little tug back towards the outer of the vehicle, and it should not move. You're then going to take the outer CV shaft. You're going to slide it at an angle. You're going to put a kink in here. You're going to slide it at an angle and slide it and line it up inside there. As you bring up the hub assembly, you're going to make sure that these splines line up with the wheel bearing splines inside there. If you don't, you're going to have a lot of issues. Sorry about the poor light, but you can kind of see them in there glinting. Make sure those are all lined up, or else you're going to cause yourself a world of issues. Once you get that lined up, you may need a jack or a second pair of hands. Bring this up. Line the upper knuckle with the upper ball joint. Line that up. Screw in the 21 or 13/16 nut. And then you're going to do the same thing with the tie rod. And then you're just going to tighten her all up. I'll put the torque specs below. You'll also want to mount the wheel on there at this time. Mount the wheel, secure it nice and tight. Put it on the put the whole entire vehicle on the ground. At this time, you'll want to install the actual axle nut in there with the vehicle weight on the vehicle, and then torque it to spec. I'll put the torque spec below, and hope that helps somebody out. Till next time, cheers.